lot to celebrate tonight, for sure. And we want to start out actually with a lot of people worked hard today on this situation. Hopefully you enjoyed your meal. Did you enjoy that meal? And when you look around in this room, if you really start looking around and taking it all in, there's a lot of special touches put into the decorating, and that's our team moms doing that, Jen and Jordan, and we really appreciate that. So we want to start out by saying thank you to Kim Sweeney, Karine Savoy, and Andrea Lowe. They prepared your meal tonight. So, so the food doesn't just magically get here. You know, it's shopped for. It's passed from one house to another. It's prepared, clean, potatoes clean. Quite an operation here. I know because I saw it. Part of it happened in my house. And would appreciate you girls. We got a little something for you from the Booster Club.
Hey, before we go any farther, I want all the young men football players, please take your hats off. Okay? And, as soon as we're done here tonight, you can put it back on. I know some of you are wearing section champion hats, but we're going to leave them off.
If you're going to wear a hat, that's the hat to wear. You just don't want to wear the right hat. Okay, well, before we get to the guys, we've got some thank yous out there. We've had a lot of people that worked very, very hard to make this a memorable experience for our players. And I want to start out with our school administration. And you know, success starts with great leadership. And I have to tell you that I've never felt more supported than I do from our principal, Amy Bessler. Come on up here. You know, it's just, I've been around the block a few times. I've worked with several principals, and they just don't get any better than this. I don't know when Amy sleeps, to be honest with you. She's just, you know, on Sundays when the rest of us are resting and relaxing, not during football season, but during the off season, you know, my inbox is bing, 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 bing. And it's all from Amy, and you know, she loves our kids, she loves our football program, and we just so appreciate you. And a lot of you might not know this, and she might be embarrassed if I say it, but you know, that game up there at up by Eureka, up there at that place called Fortuna, the day before the game, you know, Ms. Bessler's in the hospital, she had a procedure taken care of, and was basically told not to go, but she was there for sure. Hopped in the car Saturday morning, made the drive, and we really, really appreciate you, Amy. So thank you. I thought Kathy Peterson was going to be here, but she wasn't able to make it. You know, Kathy is, being the assistant principal, she's the one that's in charge of discipline. And quite often, that person isn't a very popular person around campus. But I think Kathy's able to pull that off in an amazing way. You know, she can put a kid on a suspension or whatever it may be and still make them feel human, make them feel like it's okay. We just really appreciate her. And again, somebody else that just works her tail off. Every incoming freshman at our school during the summer, before their freshman year, Kathy's going through the cubes and she's making all of her notes on every single one of your kids. She wants to get to know them right away. And she's always very supportive of us with football. She loaded Coach Logan up with a box of stickers about like this, probably about 10, 15 pounds apiece, but it was worth it. So anyway, Kathy Peterson. And Matt McDonald and Dwayne Gansky, Matt, our ASB director, and Dwayne, our athletic director, both couldn't make it, but again, we really count on them. You know, that game day experience has a lot to do with those two guys. There's a lot going on besides just the game, and those two guys are putting that stuff on. Coach Lowe.
Next, we have our media people. We have TV coverage, we have radio coverage, we have the press box coverage, and the voice of the Bruins is a former player, and if you guys are hooked into Facebook, you know what a great job he does with his little handheld videos and his narration and everything. He's a great guy. So Brian Hudson, can you come on up here, please?
10 words max, huh? I can't call an audible. So I actually wrote a few things down tonight. Just thank you for the opportunity to do it. At the bottom, you see the number that I have written there? At the very bottom of that? 2045. So the year 2045 would be the equivalent of one of these seniors coming back to this banquet for me in my last year playing, right? So 2045 sounds like a long time away, but you guys will be here. It'll still be a long time away, but you guys brought me so many memories and the families. It's just been tremendous. I love doing the announcing, and then of course on the road games, just carrying my camera around. But there were a few things that just stood out to me. I had to pare the list down pretty good, but I'll just say, Trey Moronic, you really just inspired me as a young guy moving up. Just solid, inspired play all year, quiet, confident. I love the Capital Christian game. You know, I remember asking as the game got going, you know, is everybody nervous? And people were. We just killed them. Love that. Baggett had his best game of the year. I remember Alex at the beginning of the year, every time that kid put it in the end zone, I'd say, God, what a weapon. And then the second half of the year, he was trying to get it figured out. This kid's going to be an amazing junior. I just love watching him play. Logan Jenkins, when he stepped in at linebacker when Bays was out, was great to me. Where's Leonard? Where's Jake? Jake? Fortuna game, we're struggling, right? You remember what I said to you in the game? We see we're third quarter, and I said, God, we need a little bit more from you. We need just a little bit more. It was like 2 plays later, he got that. It was a sack or a knockdown. And I said, what'd you do? He said, I gave you a little bit more, you know, which I just love that kind of stuff. My man Calder, the tightrope touchdown, baby. It'll live in infamy. I love it, and the way you got it up. One of my favorite moments was at the end of the Fortuna game when we started moving some of the backup players in. I was on the sideline there, and there was about a minute and a half left in the game. And what a week Becker had that week to show up on Saturday. And the thing that really got to me in that, there's a minute left in that game. It was a foregone conclusion, and Thomason came in. And Thomason made a tackle, right? And Becker got behind Thomason and a big pat on the back and said, great job. That's Bruin football. You knock them down, you pick your own guys up. It's just great stuff. Again, so many memories. I get emotional with this. Austin, I mean, there's so many people on the sidelines saying that's a man, and I'm looking at him going, you know what? It's a man with vulnerabilities too, just like all of us. Guy that gets up, tough, weak, strong. We're all dichotomies. so proud just to see you announce your name for the last 4 years. I'm really proud of you. Look forward to getting to know you more as we move on to adulthood. I'm almost done. Sassville's reaction when we won the section title. That guy was like Michael Jordan. He was so far off the ground. I love that. Dylan, I'm looking forward to seeing what you're doing. I won the Most Improved Player of the Year award my senior year. I think Dylan's got a chance to do amazing things his senior year. I'm just looking forward to that. So much work in a year. And you guys went one step from as far as you could go, and you only had 14 chances to play the thing. But all that work, I just loved it. Last couple things, Coach. Momentum. I just kept on the sidelines. You know, in those away game students, like you make your own momentum. So I look forward to you guys continue to make your own momentum in your lives, and then those who are continuing to play to do that. And you know, the experience that you had is only what it is unless you do something with it. And the thing is, everybody here probably got caught up and thought that we were playing, that this was all about football. That this was all about football, but this wasn't about football. This last year has been a life experiences, right? Highs, lows, stuff you could count on, stuff you never expected to have happened. Good, bad, and different. So just thank you as an alum. I'll continue to support the program. Happy to be the PA guy and the pocket analysis from the Home Depot parking lot or Costco parking lot. And Marty, can you hand me, guys, before I go, I've got something for you. You know, to the victor go the spoils. These guys, you know, achieved, and you mentioned leadership being so important. We are in the grace presence of the 2017 Sacramento Bee Metro Coaches of the Year. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you very much. Thomas? NCO didn't make it. What a great job they do for us, though, and my wife listens to it when she can't go to the game. She likes to listen to it on the computer, so heard nothing but great things. Scott and I are usually always on the sideline, so don't get to listen, but let's give a hand for KNCO. And the rest of the press box crew. Is Ed Anderson here tonight? No. He's John's older brother, right? Yeah, his younger brother was our first undefeated quarterback in 1994. But so those guys, or the rest of the crew up in the press box, the union. Is Amo? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So Amo is here from KNCO. Come on up here, Amo. Okay. Third time's a charm. How about James Todd? No? Just like I used to do in baseball. Strike three. All right. Well, I know the union's not here either, but they gave us great coverage. Went to all the way up to Eureka there, and went down swinging with us. They give us great coverage, and so anyhow, the Union newspaper. And I know somebody's here from Touchdown Productions because they're filming us right now. And I know Gil Dominguez is a great supporter of us. And what was it, 20 or 25 this year, Marty? I forget. Years.
21.
21. Marty Mortensen's been our voice on the air for 21 years. Come on up here, Marty. You know, Marty does a lot of golfing, but on Thursday afternoons, he has a big X by the golf game because he's at every Bruin practice for the last 21 years on Thursdays. He likes to get a preview of the game, talk to the players. He even goes down and shakes kicks for Alex, and he's a great, great supporter of our program. Thank you very much, Marty.
All right. You can hear me all right? Okay. 31 years I've been supporting this Bear River program, the school, all the activities, and it's just a pleasure to see this group of lady and young men here, and it's I'm just tickled to death that they put on such a great season this year. I enjoyed it. Of course, I get a little older, my heart's a little weaker, and a couple of those games in there, it was touch and go. On behalf of Touchdown Productions, we give a player of the game every week, and so when we do the games, and so the Colfax game, everybody remember that one, right? Okay, first time in 21 years we had co-players of the game, and I'd like to get Austin Bays, number 29, our co-player of the game. Nice plaque right there. Our other player of the game, and it's the plaque, just so you can see the plaque here, it says Bill Slade and Sons Trucking Player of the Game Award, Division 5, Section Final, Bear River Bruins versus Colfax Falcons. Number 24, Trey Moronic.
Yeah, you know, Brian Hudson, where are you, Brian? I got to tell you, during the playoffs, I couldn't wait to get up on Saturday morning and see what we were going to put out there. It was a lot of fun. That had to take a lot of time to do that. I know we really appreciate it. The tightrope touchdown was really cool. So, thanks for that. Another group of folks that helped us out a bunch, and 2 of the 3 are not here. Dr. Jenkins is out of town with his family on a vacation, but what a great team doctor. You know, in today's age, you know, the medical world, and you know, everybody's worried about litigation, everybody's worried about getting sued, and sometimes it's really hard to get a guy cleared. Dr. Jenkins really took care of our kids this year, and just really, really appreciate him. And unfortunately couldn't be here. Another gentleman that helped us out a bunch, he's always on our sidelines, is Jim Mathias. That's Tanner's father. He's not here, but the third person is here. From Body Logic Physical Therapy, John Siebert. Could you come on up, please? So back in, I think, like 2001, 2002, you know, Coach Lowe went off to Sierra College, and I took over, and I was really lucky that I got contacted by John here, and he wanted to do a bump and bruise clinic for us on Monday mornings, and here he is. He's still doing it, and I know Johnny Carrillo was a frequent flyer. Isn't that right, Johnny? Johnny was down there a bunch, and you know, it's funny. Our guys, it's like, oh gosh, you got to get up so early. We start school at 8:30, so you know we used to start this thing at 6 o'clock in the morning, and now we're meeting more like at 7. And you know, but once guys go down to John, they keep coming back because he works his magic. He also takes care of the coaching staff. He's worked on Coach Gansky, myself, and others. But Body Logic Physical Therapy, John, we really appreciate you. Thank you.
Also, our team photographer, Brian O'Brien's not here either, is he? Some of the kids will be getting all league plaques later on with their pictures in there. Brian did that, takes pictures at all the games, does a great job. So support Brian O'Brien. Thank you.
So moving into another category of helpers. These are parental helpers. And we really appreciate what all of you've done throughout the year. You know, helping out that snack bar, helping out with the team meals, out there selling those programs and buying those buttons and just supporting our program, helping us out with our fundraising. You know, we really wish we didn't have to do all those things, but we do. We have to. That money's not there. Our kids wear really nice equipment. They've got the best helmets that money can buy and shoulder pads that money can buy. You look on, you watch those games on Sunday and watching it today, looking at, you know, they're wearing the same helmets that our kids are wearing. So all that comes with a price, and we appreciate everything that you all do for us. So thank you. There's another group. We've got a group that actually meets year-round with football. You know, just trying to keep our football program going, and that would be our booster club. And I want to introduce these people. I want to start out with the top guy, Bill Reed. Where are you, Bill? Come on down. Bill is a special, special guy. He will literally give you the shirt off his back. He is a bulldog also. He protects us. He protects our program. He fights for us. He also brought that golf cart down for Coach Loeb for all those playoff games. That made life livable for Coach. You know, it's hard for him to get around, especially those away games. Like Capital Christian, the locker room was a long, long ways from the field. So Bill, you know, all we had to do is just like mention it, and it was done. He had it, grabbed that thing, took it all the way up to Fortuna for us, and he's helped us out a bunch. And he doesn't have a kid in the program, and we've got a lot of people that are helping out, that our kids have graduated, and really appreciate you, Bill. Okay, our treasurer is Bree Spence, and she has a boy, a freshman boy in the program. Our secretary is Mary Carippo, again, no boy in the program. Our Bruin Wear gal is Jen Davis. Where are you, Jen? Could you stand up, please? Jen? I've got a baby in hand. Brenna Toffenberg does our scoreboard signs, and also they've helped out with membership. Again, not a boy in the program. Fundraising, Jordan Scott. Where are you, Jordan? Cutting the cake. Brian Hollister organized our physical night. Again, no kid in the program. You know, Connor graduated a couple years ago. Reserve seats, Jen Alberg. We all know who Jen is. Membership, Angel Humble, and again, as a freshman in the program. Our JV team moms were Bree Spence and Lisa Davis. Next person, program, website, Facebook, Shelley Sanders. Could you come up here, please, Shelley? Shelley's son, he played in our 2014 championship, section championship team. And come on up. Yeah, it's tough to find way up here, but she just keeps coming. And whenever we need something done, she gets it done. And she used to do Bruin Wear. She's taking care of us communication-wise these days. Also worked very hard in the program. And her family is just amazing. It just amazes me when I walk down on game night, and her whole family's here, and they're all working. You know, Daryl's in there flipping hamburgers in the snack bar, and quite often he's Jefferson's in there too. We're trying to keep Jefferson from eating all the hamburgers, but the whole family they bleed Cardinal and Gray, and we really appreciate you, Shelley. And then I don't even know if we should call our snack bar a snack bar. It's way, way above the typical high school snack bar. I mean, it's just amazing what Bill and Tracy have done with our snack bar. They took it over how many years ago, Tracy? 5 years? Yeah. It's been crazy. I know I look out the window of the weight room and I see her down there at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock on Friday. You know, she has a job, but she's down here at 11 or 12 o'clock on Fridays, cooking up the special for the week. You know, they've done a great job for us. Bill and Tracy, could you come here, please? So again, they don't have a boy in the program. They're just here supporting us, supporting your boys. And we really appreciate it. We give them a hand.
Next is a very involved family at Bear River High School, and T3 Charities. They had a golf tournament that he did this summer. It was just amazing. I went down there with my wife, and by the way, if she doesn't get in next year, your son doesn't play. So. I'm just kidding. But she's the golfer in the family, obviously, but Coach Banquet was there and some of the other coaches, and that was a great, great event that he put on. And then they donated some great equipment to us and some cash donations. And really, really want to thank them very much. It was Dave Moronic. I'm sorry, I'm Gordon, both of you. Come on. He's already put some World Championship Raider equipment together now that Gruden's coach, by the way. Another outfit that gave us a very nice donation was Wendy Aarons and the TDK Foundation out of Auburn. And they came to practice, talked to the kids about, you know, one of the recent things that happened down there, tragedy, and how they're helping out. And she was did a great job supporting us all year, but we'd like to acknowledge them. Come on up here, please, Wendy.
Also bought the kids dinner after one of the football games. Very special. Yeah, Coach.
We just wanted to say thank you, and we're really excited that we were able to support the program. And we also wanted to let you know that we will be having a dinner on May 4th, but we do have funding to provide guardian caps for the whole football program next year. So we will be donating those to the system.
So the Guardian caps that Winnie's referring to is a protective device that goes over the outer shell of a football helmet. And we would be wearing those all week long, and we take them off obviously on game night. But just another way to protect our kids. We already have soft shells that they wear during the summer, and we've got the Ride L Insight program that censors the hits that they're taking during the game. So this is a huge, huge deal. We get those guardians. There's not much else you can do to protect the kids. That's awesome.
We also like to acknowledge a longtime Bear River / ex-Colfax / Bear River supporters. Tom and Linda Cox made us a nice donation this year. Come on up here, Tom. And last year. Funny, The 2 years we won the section title, we've gone up and practiced in the Valley Union Wednesday and Thursday before the game. And Tom came up to watch practice, and he looked at me and he goes, "They're ready. I can tell they're ready." And by golly, he was right. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Moving on, we've got some guys that help us out on game nights. And our stat guys, there's actually 3 of them. And I know Travis Carpenter is not here tonight, neither is Kevin Ashcraft. Again, Kevin doesn't have a boy in the program. His boy Kyle graduated 2 years ago. And he just continues to help out, and we really appreciate it. But the third guy's here. And he approached me this year about helping out, and he did a great job for us, especially down there at Fortuna. You know, we didn't have Travis with us, and Kevin couldn't make the trip, and Mike Daniels was down there covering the ropes, and we really appreciate it. Mike Daniels, come on up.
All right, our film crew, I don't know how many are here. I know Wayne Watkins is here. I think Mr. Doug Lacoste is here, right? No? And Mr. Fink. Not here. We got one here, former ex-Bruin 1989, Wayne Watkins. Wayne is also our junior Bruin president and does a tremendous job with the guys. Thank you, Wayne. He teaches them the Bruin way. What? The Booster Club? Right on, Wayne. I think he's number 66, if I remember.
Okay, well that takes us down to our team moms. Come on down, team moms. So y'all reap the benefits of these two ladies. They're the connection between us and you. You're calling them all the time wanting to know what the practice changes are, what color game pants we're wearing this week, and who knows what else. And they help us out a ton. Organize that team meal. Jen, I keep telling Jen that she's kind of missing her calling by the Fortuna trip. It looks like she could definitely be a travel agent. She could definitely, I mean, she lined up our room. She had everybody organized. It was just unbelievable what these two gals do. And we always have a senior mother and a junior mother with the hopes that the junior mom will come on up the following year and take the lead. Last year, Tracy was the senior mom, and we really appreciate you gals. We've got something for you. So thank you. Okay, some other help that we have on the sidelines. On game night, we've got 2 water girls. And not the most glorious job ever. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah, so moms, those are gifts from the parents.
We love you, girls!
All right, thanks, ladies. Our water girls. Sounds like a great job, doesn't it? But you got to be around a bunch of sweaty boys that are spitting water out all over the place and grabbing it from you and throwing it down to the ground and refilling it. And they pull it off with grace, for sure. These two guys have helped us out for a couple of years. And we're going to miss them. They're both seniors. We're going to miss them next year. Cameron Carpio and Kaylee Bohr, come on down.
And during the game, the refs are always yelling, "Get the ball out here, get the ball out here." And guy did a great job for us. It looks like he's going to be definitely a Bruin to me. Jackson Scott.
Jackson's going to be the envy of all over. Don't go anywhere yet, buddy. He's going to be the envy of everybody over at Magnolia because he's got a varsity travel shirt. And some varsity shorts, too.
Next is a guy that we've been very fortunate, you know, especially as I get older and less useful, to have some tremendous dad support helping us as our manager, picking up equipment. We had, help me out, Scott, the linebacker's dad for a couple of years. Krogman. Mr. Krogman did it for 2 or 3 years, and now for the last 2 years it's been Todd Alberg. He picks everything up. He is unbelievable. He's the guy who takes care of the sensors for the helmets. Every time somebody forgets their practice jersey, he goes and gets them one. He does so much stuff at the game so that the coaches can just coach, and really helps us out. He was a coach. But hopefully he might be one of those guys that give us an extra year. But who knows? Todd Alberg, come on up here.
So for the parents out there, the TV show MASH, this is radar. I mean, he's handing me things before I even ask for them. This year we decided to actually get him certified with the CPR, his first aid, and everything else, because he's down there with us all the time, and sometimes he's taking kids off on his own, and so as far as he's certified to be a coach, and he's our manager / coach, and he's made life very, very, very nice for us. On game night, he's lugging that stuff all over the place. He's loading his trucks full of stuff up there for Fortuna. So, thank you. So now it's time to talk about these football players. And Coach Logue is going to start out with just a little bit of a recap of the season.
I don't know about a recap, I don't know. Obviously, tremendous year. A lot of great things happened. It's funny because I talked to Coach Skansky. We've been to 6 section title games, and we've won 3 and lost 3. But the difference between that last win and that last loss, it's, exponential. And to the winner goes the spoils. We got patches over here, we got state patches, we got bowl patches, we got everything under the sun, and they earned it. I wanted to say a couple words here about Coach Baggett. Jeff Baggett, will you stand up down there for a minute? say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But, yeah, you know, we did the camping trip this year. Coach Banquet, that was his thing. We had to go on this camping trip, and I'm sitting there going, what the hell are we going to do at camping? And by the way, remember, guys, what happened up there stays up there. But Coach Banquet organized the camping trip, and I really do believe that it bonded the team, brought us closer together, and the coaching staff has brought us closer to the players. There's no other explanation for what the hell happened this year. Good job, Coach Banquet, with the camping trip. But, you know, we won the Division 5 section title. We won 10 games and lost 4. Our goal at the beginning of the year was to flip our record. Last year was the first losing season we had here since 1988. It's a long time. And it hurt. And when I looked at our spring tryouts or spring practice the first couple of days, and not one guy on the offensive line, maybe one guy had played in a varsity football game. We had a quarterback that never played quarterback since he was a freshman. And we talk about flipping the record. And I'm again going, there's no way, you know, there's no way. But somehow we found a way. First ever team to go to a bowl game, first ever team to do that. That's pretty amazing. 10 wins. We got ranked number 7 in the state by Cowhide Magazine out of, I don't know, 580 schools. 7th smallest school in the state. And Max Prep named us number 1 small school in the entire section, which I don't think there's any doubt about that. A lot of great things. But the things that, you know, you look back on that made it just amazing was in our section, you have to have usually 6 or 7 wins, but the other part of that equation is you have to have 2 league wins. And if you follow the team, our 2 didn't come very easy. We beat Foothill 14-13 and had to intercept a pass with about a minute to go to seal that game. And then we had to stop a 2-point play by center and then win in overtime to get into the playoffs. But we talked all year long about once we got in there, we're going to play schools our own size. And by God, you better look out then. When you come back. And they did a great job. I think the section title game was one of the greatest football games I've ever seen. Obviously we won, which made it a lot nicer to enjoy. But 2 great football teams got after it, and we came out on top. So, Coach Savoy, you have anything to add here?
Just one. To me, what sums it all up is that we got one player on the roster that's beaten Colfax in football. One guy. That's up to about a month ago. So as freshmen, as sophomores, as juniors, for our seniors anyway, and the same thing with our sophomores and the juniors are on the team. So now just one kid had beaten Colfax over their entire football career. And they found a way to get it done when it really counted. When on the big, big stage, they got it done. And to me, that epitomizes our team. That sums it all up into one. And what, you know, the Fortuna game was tough, but you know, that was icing on the cake. The true prize was not only winning a section championship, but beating Colfax in that section championship.
Okay, before we get started with the players, we'd like to introduce the varsity staff and Coach Dean Sweeney. Stand up, come on. Coach Tanner Matthias. Got 1 foot in the Hall of Fame. He's almost there. Seriously. Chad Chiardi. Stand up, Chad. Yes, it's true, he's single, girls. Coach Damon Turner looking very sharp tonight. And former Bruin, former ex/Colfax, now went all the way to the section title with his old buddies, Coach Logan, Coach Savoy, Jeff Baggett. And once the regular season was over, we brought some sophomores up, and some of our younger coaches came and helped us out and did a great job. We practiced 5 extra weeks. That's half a season. And some of these guys are here tonight. Jeremy Kerr, our head JV coach. You know, all these guys did a great job. We obviously were not happy with the decision we had to make about not having a freshman team this year. And they shrugged it off. They pulled that group together, and they won 3 or 4 games and had a couple close losses with basically a 2/3 soft freshman. Also here is Frank Sullivan. A new coach to Bear River, really a great asset to our program. Mike Perfumo and his wife. He's one of those guys, we all did it when we were younger, doing double duty, coaching junior Bruins for 3 hours a night, then going to varsity or JV practice, and your Saturdays and Sundays are gone too, so I don't know. Todd Whitehead is not here, Mr. Jones is not here, but Manuel Hurtado. Did I miss anybody? Our wives were up here earlier, but I want to, acknowledge them again, coaches' wives. If you've never coached a sport, it's either up here or it's way down there. And my wife knows already when I walk in the door which is which. And she's used to me. But I'd like to thank all the coaches' wives for putting up with everything that your husbands do. So all the wives, let's give them a hand. I think that's it, Coach.
Okay, well, we're going to start out with the certificates for the players here. And all the coaches are going to be involved in this. Coaches want to kind of hold up the things the kids are getting over there. So they're getting a second place NorCal bowl game medal. Hold that baby up for them, will you? There's the medal. Oh, and then we got that state patch. Like that patch? You gotta love that. And then CIF gives us the section championship patch. And then we also received a really nice bumper sticker that Jen Davis put together for the kids. It sort of has the section championship logo on it. It's going to look good on the cars, I know that. Yeah. So, and they're going to get a certificate. And players that have not gotten the varsity letter yet, so you take your certificate in, or you just go in to see Adina. She knows. See Adina, and football will, of course, pay for your BR for your jackets. And if you've already received that letter, then you can go in and you can get your little football that goes on the letter. And for the captains, you can get a little captain star as well. Okay? Now those certificates, for our sophomores we brought up to the varsity, you will get one, but you won't get it tonight. A little bit of a mix-up on that. I'll get those to you this week, but you'll get all the other things today. And the coveted rings, well, they're not in yet. They're supposed to be in, I believe, I'm hoping, the first week of February. And if they're not, I know Coach Loke's going to be on the phone because we want our rings too. So we were really hoping to have them here for the banquet, but we knew that was going to be a stretch all along. So that's to come, along with the T-shirt that's coming your way as well, players. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start out with sophomores, then we'll work through the juniors, and finally we'll work through the seniors. And players, make sure you shake every coach's hand. We appreciate that. Okay. Somebody ready to go here? Coach Matthias?
Hey guys. So I got a couple of guys who didn't show up, and I just got to mention them before I bring up my good friend. Colton Jenkins, great player, looking forward to having him. He was awesome on JV, and then pulling him up, he was great for us on scout team. Zach Fink, go-getter, always going full speed, like literally always going full speed. And so I can't wait to have him again. Arguably my favorite person to watch when I was coaching him, and then in practice, Jeremy Rodriguez missed the first half of the season with some great issues, and once he got cleared up, I was like giddy to watch him play in that first JV game until he broke his collarbone like 6 plays in. So 7 plays in, I'm sorry. 12? Whatever. He made it a full 12 plays before breaking his collarbone into his whole JV season. And you know what? Next year he's going to be amazing, and I can't wait. Like I said, I was giddy to watch him play on JV. Just wait until he's on varsity next year. It's going to be great. But I got to bring up Eric Ross. So, if you guys know me at all, I'm super sarcastic, especially when I'm coaching. And I honestly, at one point, I started giving Eric like as much sarcasm as I could. I didn't know if he could catch a cold at one point. And he's a receiver, and to not be able to catch him, be a receiver is a little shaky, but he worked through it this year. I mean, he had some great catches on JV. He's always one of the guys that I go out and look for. As soon as I get down to JV games, I go out and look and see what Eric's doing and how he's playing. And then as soon as he came up on varsity, I snagged him for scout team in a heartbeat. And every Sunday, I get to pick who plays what position on scout team. And he was one of my first draft picks every week. So, man, Eric Ross, can't wait to see him next year.
Okay, these guys came up with us, and I thought they got a lot better, and they got their feet wet. I didn't really get to know them all that well. I'm looking forward to getting to know them, but they really helped us out in practice when they were called up. Caleb Hurst, Sam Walker, and Shane Boyer.
Okay, Trey, why don't you come up here? So, we were super lucky to have Trey. I'm so glad that Terry and Scott made the decision to pull him up. His athletic ability is off the charts. We're utilizing him a little bit as a formation guy early on. Once Steven got hurt in the Lincoln game, we had to make that switch right in the middle of the first drive of the game. We actually had to put Trey into Steven's spot. I was in code red mode. I just had to believe in Trey to be able to have athletic maturity, to be able to execute the plays that Steven was running. And he did a phenomenal job. Got us through that game. And throughout the year, as I'm breaking down film now and watching it, Trey has got a great natural ability to run the arc, and to be able to slice up the field, smooth as silk, and accelerate and lower his pad levels and finish his runs. He's been, it's just, the sky's the limit for you, Trey. Keep developing your skill set. Be humble and just keep pushing yourself to get great every day. But right now, and I think in his future, Trey is a human highlight reel. He makes plays all over the field. He can run the football, he can throw the football, he can catch the football. There's nothing that Trey can't do for this football team. He showed that this year. Put a lot of pressure on him this year to play like a senior, and that's tough to do for a sophomore to be able to come in and put himself in a senior's shoes where it's their last hoorah playing high school football, and he did that. He played like a senior this year. He gave everything he could for the senior class, and I know that they're thankful for that, and we are super thankful for your ability to be coached, pushed, and your buy-in. It's been exponential, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Another sophomore that we went out to watch him kick one day. Somebody said he wanted to try out as kicker. And I used to kick many years ago. I was a straight-on kicker, though, with a square toe, so the soccer guys, I'm not quite as good at helping them as I am the straight-on guys. But anyhow, went out there the first day, and I just was listening to the sound of his foot hit the ball. Just thump, thump, thump. And he'd never done it before. Some of them would take off beautiful high, go 55 yards. Some of them would go about 6 inches off the ground, kill a couple of snakes. But it didn't take a genius to figure out this guy is going to be a great kicker. And if you look at the section title game, we won 30-27. We made a field goal and they missed theirs. And he's going to be a tremendous asset to our program for the next 2 years. And really, really a great young man. And hopefully we're going to teach him a little bit about the game of football, too. Because I think he could be a heck of a player. But, oh, yeah, thank you. He did. When his kickoff went to the 1 yard line a couple times, there are guys running back. And before he gets to the 10 yard line, Coach Baggett's screaming at me, "Why you kick it deep, you idiot?" And, but Alex made a couple game-saving tackles. So, Alex Vaughn, you here?
Okay, that was a close one. Well, I'm going to start out with Shelby Banquet. Shelby. So last year, our varsity team, we had a girl on our varsity team last year. That was the first girl on a football team experience for Coach Logan and I. And it didn't go so well. And it had absolutely zero to do with the fact that it was a girl. It had to do with the fact that the girl that went out for football went out for the wrong reasons and really didn't buy in. But then we have Shelby. And it's pretty cool when the only girl on your team is respected by every single guy on the team. And I think they respect Shelby for a lot of reasons, but one of which is that she doesn't try to get out of anything. She will line up against anybody. And she's paid her price. She's earned this letter. She's worked very, very hard, and we're very proud of her. Not only is she out for football, but she's an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman. That's a tough place. That's a tough place to be. Things in the trenches get a little crazy. And Shelby has just done a great job for us all year. And congratulations. Shelby's also a scholar athlete.
Hey guys, so Chad, swing on down, buddy. So, as I mentioned before, I get to draft my scout team guys, right? We're out there drafting guys, and Chad is ready. And if for some reason we're playing a team that doesn't have a player in Chad's position, Chad's right there, and he's like, Coach, I'm ready. I'm like, Chad, not right now, I'll be there. And then the next play comes up, and he's like, am I in? Not yet, you're going to get your chance. And so, keeps coming around, and he's always there, always working, always in my face, and I love it. And Chad was great to have around, so much fun, and can't wait to have him around next year again. Chad.
Clayton Anderson. Well, I'll tell you what, the sky's the limit for Clayton. Great football player. Played a backup role this year. You know, pound for pound, he just throws his body in there. It's awesome to see. The upside, he's got nothing but an upside to him. He plays tailback for us this year and some corner. At tailback, you know, he's got great footwork, very fast feet. It's what you kind of like to see in a tailback. He has a very good jump cut, and I was really, really surprised this year how physical he was. Some of those games early on in the year, we were rotating him in quite a bit. We had a little bit of the lead, and we got him in there quite a bit. And he showed a great effort at running the football. He secures it well. He never fumbled it. He really slammed his little body in there against these big guys. It's really, really impressive. At a corner, he does a great job. You know, he flips his hips very, very well. He's able to dictate pace a little bit by splitting the crotch of the receivers. Did a really good job at corner too for us. So I think you know, Clayton, if you just continue to develop the muscle and the skill set just to protect yourself, you're gonna have a great year next year for us at tailback. All right, Clayton's also a scholar athlete, 3.5 GPA.
This guy, I know he had a couple personal ups and downs, but I think he learned a lot and he grew up a lot. And he was out there and he would take anybody on. He improved as the year went on. And I thought he got better and better, and I look forward to seeing how good he can be next year. Alexander Dussin.
This year I was fortunate enough to coach the linebackers. Out of all my years of coaching, I can honestly say it's probably the best linebacking core I've seen in a long time. The man in the middle this year was Garrett Pratt. He played tight end for us, made some great catches. next year. I'll probably talk more about him later on tonight, so I'll cut it short. But he is also a scholar athlete with a 3.5 GPA.
Another junior that worked his way into more and more playing time was playing behind Gundy early in the season. And then we had to move some positions around. We had some injuries. And this guy came on, was a really good receiver. I really envision him as a 40 reception guy next year, 40, 45 receptions. He can also play corner. He can also play safety. He does a great job for us. He's got a good attitude. And I'm very happy he was on our team this year, Dylan Scott.
So I work over at Big Five, and I get a lot of kids coming in there. And every time a kid comes in from one of the schools that we were at, I try and get them to come out for football. You know, whether it be a little College Hill kid or a Magnolia kid or a Bearwood kid, I always ask them. Every single time, it doesn't happen. They don't come out. But this year, the guy came out actually for the first time. And when he showed up the first day, I was like, whoa, I didn't expect to see you here. And I don't think he missed a single day. I think he's one of the only guys that didn't miss a single practice. There's a lot of things to be said about this guy that make him special, but one of those things is every day, almost every single day after practice, we would spend extra time together. Nobody really knew about that. You know, we spent 10, 15, 20 minutes just going over extra stuff about football. You know, what a football play was, whether it was throwing a football, catching a football, every single thing that there had to do about football. And I really enjoyed that time with this guy. One of my favorite things about this guy was after football games, he didn't get to play a lot, but he always had the question after every football game, and it had nothing to do about football at all. He'd come up to me and be like, "Coach, I got a question." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" It's like, "Where does wind come from?" Well, Colin, let me tell you, because he's lucky. Because I was in this environmental science class this year, and every single question he had was related somehow to environmental science. So I was able to answer most of his questions. The second most favorite thing I have about him is if everybody looks at Colin, he'll put his head down and he'll smile just like that. Because he's embarrassed a little bit. But he does that when he does things really well too. And when he's proud of himself. And one of the biggest things that I think he enjoyed this year, one of the things that he learned was to have self-confidence in himself. He came out here pretty timid, a bunch of guys that he didn't really know, playing a sport he never played before, very violent sport, got knocked down a lot of times, but he always got back up and he showed up every single day. And he got better and he knows more about football in 1 year than I ever did, I promise you that, because I taught him, so I know. But I'm very proud of this guy, and I think he's a very special guy on this football team. I'm happy to have him. Call him.
Next is another young man that transferred to Bear River High School. Tremendous athlete. Was a two-way starter at the beginning of the year. But I think he probably got tired of me and some of the other coaches yelling at him because he wasn't going hard enough. And it's one thing to be a starter. That's all great, but it's another thing to be a leader. But I was very pleased at the progress that Calder made from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. Started playing hurt. Guys were looking up to him, going as hard as he can in practice. And I believe he's one of the most talented athletes we've ever had. Next year he's probably going to be our quarterback. Also runs back punts, great corner, shutdown corner. We always put him on the best receiver, one-on-one out there on a Maui island. He's like I said, besides being a good football player, I'm really enjoying watching him grow as a young man. And he's going to have a tremendous season for us next year. Calder Cundy.
Also, I don't think Coach mentioned it, but by beating Colfax in the section title game, you stopped Tony from getting his 200th win, so he can't hang that on me. This guy here, he had a lot of personal loss during the year, but he was very important to us. He played a lot on scout, but then he started working his way to the starting rotation, and we got him up there on the offensive line, and at the end, he was filling in at linebacker. So just about everywhere we put him, he did what we asked him to do and better than we asked him to do it. So we were really proud of him. I look forward to coaching him again next year. Zane Beaton.
Hunter, come on up here. Hey, Hunter played some linebacker for us, but I think especially is more of the fullback spot for us. He backed up Bays this year, mixed in quite a bit. He was actually a really good pass blocker. Did really well with that. He's got great hands out of the backfield. He runs hard. He works really, really hard in the scout offense this year. Actually really did a phenomenal job for Coach Mathias in the scout offense. He went hard. Coach Turner talked about the linebacking crew being one of the best he's seen here. He took, he delivered a lot of punishment to them. He took a little bit. But Hunter is a great kid. He's going to be a great football player for us next year. I think that, he's going to have to put in a little extra time away from scheduled practices to get himself a lot better, and to get him, just to get that extra ability that he's going to need to be able to compete at a high level for us. He's done a good job. One memorable thing I like with him is usually at the end of the night when we're talking to the football team, the other coaches are talking, I'll be scanning the kids a little bit, and somehow me and Hunter always kind of connect eyes. And he kind of smiles, I kind of smile at him a little bit, and I think, we're good with that. I think it's good. So, again, just be ready to come out next year, be ready to challenge yourself, be able to be ready to push to the high level, and greatness will come from that. Hunter Daniels.
Okay, as Coach Hogan mentioned earlier, last year at this time and even into the spring, now I was really worried about this team, and my biggest concern was the offensive lines, because we only had one kid that was returning that had any experience on the offensive line, and if your offensive line isn't any good, it's going to be really difficult to be successful. And this guy he was on our JV team last year. In my opinion, he was the best of the crew. So I penciled him in really. He got the first look at center. And, 14 games later, he was still standing. He was our center all year long. Your center is a very important piece to the offensive line. If your center is not very solid, you're going to have difficulty because they're looking at both sides of the line. Your quick guard, your quick tackle, they're working as a pair. Your strong guard and strong tackle are working as a pair. But he's got to work with both sides and got to pick up stunts. And I felt like Trey did a great job this year. And I'm really curious to see what he can do during the offseason. He's got the frame. He's a big, tall guy. He's going to keep working that weight room, I know, and I think he's going to be a standout guy for us next year. He was very important to us this year. He's one of those guys that, you can harass him, you can say something to him, and he'll take it. He'll just kind of smile. But don't ever mess with one of his buddies. And, had a little issue with him at Fortuna. He wasn't very happy with Fortuna guys. They were messing with a couple of our guards, and he's very, very protective. I tried to get him to cut his hair a few times. No luck on that. So we finally got to the point to where it was like, hey, Trey, how you doing today? Gee, your hair looks terrific. Trey Nix, come on up.
So this next guy, the best person I can compare him to would be the Hulk, because when he turns green, God help the guy lined up on the other side of the ball. I'm serious, man. This guy's got a switch, right? He's the most respectful and the nicest guy that we got. And then all of a sudden, he takes a step onto that football field, and boom! He is pissed. He's ready to piss. Right? Doesn't matter who it is. It could be a practice too. But man, he plays right there in the middle. So whenever you guys are up there in the stands and somebody's making a tackle right in the middle, you don't know who it was. I can almost promise you that it was this guy. Right? He is the heart and soul of our defense right there in the front line. And when he's not headbutting dude and hitting him in the nuts, this guy is making tackles for a loss. And he is one of our most valuable guys that we got on the whole defense. He's a playmaker, and he's coming back next year as a returning starter. That's Sam Davis.
I just love it when a plan works out, and it did for this guy. And at the end of the school year last year, it wasn't looking good for Jared. His GPA was not where it needed to be. He was all over taking a class, and that didn't work out. And we all felt terrible for not just Jared, but also for Austin. It's a special thing to be able to share a football season with your brother. And Jared was ineligible at the beginning of the year, so we kept him on kept him on a contract. And what that basically entails is that he practices every day, and in that contract he had to be there every day. Although he doesn't get to play on Fridays until the next grading period comes along. And there's some other things tied to that contract. And he stayed true to it. He stayed strong and got it done, and was eligible for like our last 2 regular season games. During the week, during the season, he's one of the fastest guys. His first step as a defensive lineman is unparalleled. It's really something. And he's fast. His first step on offense is very fast as well. So we knew that if he was going to be able to hang in there, he was going to be able to help us, and that he did. He ended up coming in and starting for us at the strong guard position. And here we go. Okay? Love it when things work out. Scholar athlete, 3.0 GPA. Okay, looks like I've got the last junior.
Nice job.
Okay. Oh, man. In spring training, it became really obvious to us that this guy was going to play for us somewhere. He was on the JV squad last year. And from the end of that JV season to spring training last year, this guy just exploded. He really excelled in the weight room. He was one of our strongest guys as a junior. He's amazing in that way. At the end of the season, I checked him out on his maxes, and his maxes at the end of the season were actually up from where they were at the beginning of the season. Now that's what we're always working for, but that doesn't always happen. Football season's very intense. This guy just really works hard in the weight room. He was our quick tackle. And when you look at him, you wouldn't think he's necessarily very quick, but he is quick. And he's out there right now on the soccer field. And he was talking to me the other day that he just loves it because when he shows up at the soccer games, they think he's going to be this slow guy because he's big. And he blows them away because he's really fast. And the thing I think I love the most about Johnny is that it doesn't matter what happens. I mean, it could be bad, there could be bad things, there could be good things. Against Colfax, he literally took a guy on the goal line and drove him almost like what was that movie? Blindside? It was like a blindside. I mean, just a step down from the movie. But he drove a guy out of the end zone. And when you're looking at Johnny after something like that happens, he's smiling. Johnny smiles all the time. Very happy young man, very talented, and started our whole season over there at Strong Tackle. And we're looking forward to having him back next year. Johnny Carrillo. He's smiling. All right. Really good.
This young man we're very proud of. It takes guys that are unselfish to have a great football team. And Jordan didn't get a lot of playing time after the first 5 games. First 5 games we had a chance to play at everybody. And the last 5 we were hanging on for our life in every game. But this guy always, like on Coach Tanner's scout team, played the best receiver or the best running back on the other team, got pounded, never cried, never complained, did a super job. As I said, we're very proud of him. And without guys like Jordan Elliott, we have no team. Jordan Elliott.
If you hang around long enough, and if you work hard, good things are going to happen. And I think that applies to not just football. Just there's something to say for work ethic, and just always being there. And this young man was on our team last year, but he played in a very limited role. He just truthfully wasn't ready to play on the offensive line last year as a junior. And he took that very seriously because he worked his tail off. He's definitely one of our leaders in the weight room. Again, him and Johnny are buddies all the time together in the weight room. They were together in their weight room group. And what really impressed me about Josue was not how much and how hard he worked, but the fact that he really pushed everybody in his group. We put him in a leadership role last January to get his team ready, his workout group ready to go. And his group was incredible. They made huge gains. He played for us this year at the quick tackle position, right next to his buddy John, and did a tremendous job. You know, not the greatest puller in the world. He's a big guy, you know, but pass blocker, very, very tough to pass block. He's very strong and a great drive blocker as well. So he was in there with our straight ahead stuff, our pass blocking stuff, and sometimes we got Sam in there when we needed somebody to pull. But Josue Hurtado did a wonderful job for us this year.
Josh Zimmer. Hey, Josh Zimmer was our starting safety this year. Played all year as a junior safety for us. I was fortunate enough to coach Josh all through his youth football career. Was very happy when he decided to make the decision to transfer to Colfax. Really proud of how he developed his skill sets. He stuck with it. He believed in the system. He believed in what we were doing. Fortunate enough to be very close to his family. I was able to coach his brother over at Colfax and had that great respect for him. I think he's a kid that knows me and knows what I'm about. He was able to take tough coaching, criticism, and accountability at a high level. I think that was kind of what bred him since he's been a kid. And, his athleticism this year, I know that he played a part offensively for us, but when he got the opportunity to run, and I'm cutting up film right now, and I didn't give him enough credit. He ran the ball really well when he got it. He had great vision. His stick and roll, we run a power play. I know it's a little more technical and we get a little deep into it. We run a power play that's supposed to hit a really A gap and then slice it out to C gap. There's little two options for that play. And over that we run that play, Josh does a great job with a beautiful stick and roll. It's almost like a water skier when he's cutting outside the buoy and coming back. The pad level is nice and low. The lean is over the inside leg. And he rolls it right out to the outside and is able to accelerate once he gets to the next level, which is really good. And then Josh has always had the ability to finish runs. Okay, it took him a lot of years to get to finishing runs, right? But you pulled the right year out to do it. Okay. Great memorable play for me is the section championship game. It meant a lot to him. I know it meant a lot to this football team. And he made, coming into the fourth quarter, the change of that, we were going into the fourth quarter, and we came out, we ran a little play action, and Josh was out the back door, and he made a beautiful catch. Now, what we didn't know about that catch is that about 4 or 5 plays earlier, Josh had really busted his hand up pretty good. And so he showed a little bit of toughness there and continued to play the rest of the game, did a great job for us. Very proud of you, Josh, and I was very happy to coach you. All right? So, Josh is also, wait a minute, this is awesome. Josh is a 3.2 GPA guy. Right? 3.2 GPA. 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 3.
next young man has a special place in my heart. We spent a lot of time together on scout defense. He's a good guy. We had some great conversations. Coach Baggett here running like an hour and a half of offensive drill. And me and Tommy Gunn would have some great talks. And sometimes he'd get bored over there and he'd say, Coach, I just want to hit somebody. And I said, you know what? Where's Carpenter at? You go and you hit Carpenter right with that ball snap. And if you guys know Carpenter, it was pretty funny. Pretty funny. But Tommy Gunn, I'm going to miss you. We had some great talks. I mean, I love you, bud. You're a good guy, man. You have a big heart. Come on up.
So I'm a Jaguars fan. The only one, I think. But today we lost, right? And I was pretty pissed off. And I think it came down to one freaking play. We couldn't convert on a third down because we got a delayed game penalty. Right? The Patriots turned around and scored. We lost by 4 points. So I thought, what about us this year? There's been a couple one-play games for us. Like, which one play was the one that got us to the championship and won it for us? I mean, it could have been easily Bond with just kicking one PAT against Foothill. Could have been one strip sack by Bates against Center. Could have been a Tyrell touchdown by Cundy against Colfax. And I thought maybe, I don't think it was any one play at all. I don't think it was a play, period. Honestly, I think it was a moment that we all shared up at football camp, which I'm sure some of your parents heard about it, but it was, we sat around a campfire and we talked about, a high point and a low point in your life. And that was the most intimate conversation I've ever had in my life. That was my highlight of my life, actually. That was the most special thing I've ever been a part of. And after that night, not a lot of people said anything. He just went back to their tents. But there was one guy who stayed. He stayed, he came up to me, and he had tears running down his face. And he talked to me, and he decided he wanted to change his life around. He wanted to change his friend groups, wanted to change his habits off the field, and he wanted to commit himself to something greater than himself. And I can tell you that he's a man of his word because he did that all season long. He changed his friend group, he changed his habits. He is living a clean, a great life, and he's surrounded by a bunch of people who love and care about him more than anybody else. I'm so proud of this guy. I don't know what else to say, man. I had a lot of things up in my head that I just wanted to say. But I love you so much, Aaron Sassville, and I'm so proud of you.
Well, it's, if you've never been the coach's son or one of the best players' dad out there, you can't really relate. You can sit up there in the stands and go, he's playing because his dad's the coach. Yeah, he couldn't play on any other team but his team. I tell you what, both the Banquet boys, tremendous players, tremendously dedicated to the game. I remember when they were little guys, when Jeff was coaching over here the first time, and then they moved over to Colfax, and I didn't see him for a few years. And then all of a sudden I saw him playing freshman football, and I go, God dang, he's pretty good. I always envisioned him as a golfer, the little guy. His brother was always a big bully. Anyhow, Luke Baggett, we're not where we're at without Luke Baggett, I'll guarantee you that. Not only as a quarterback, not only as a DB, but as a player, as a person, as a leader, and a great young man. We'll be talking about him more later on tonight, playing in the Optimist All-Star game, but had a tremendous season, and I'm very proud of it, Luke Baggett. 3.0 GPA also.
is my last guy. And I love this guy. His journey has been interesting because he's just not, he has to work for everything he gets. And I like that. I felt like I was that way as a player. I wasn't super gifted. I had to work for anything that I got as a player, so I could really relate to this guy. And, you know, as a junior player and as a freshman player, you know, he was a different body type. He was a quarterback, receiver, linebacker type. And then his sophomore year came around, and he just grew. He grew, and he grew in a way that he was no longer going to be a quarterback for us, and he wasn't going to be a linebacker. So I approached him about being an offensive lineman. And I know he wasn't sure about that. He chose number 76, which was my number. I was pretty excited about that. And his junior year, just, I know that he didn't really enjoy his junior season very much because he didn't get it, he really didn't get, there wasn't much of an impact on the field. And I know that we've got guys in the room like that right now. I hope you're listening because at this banquet last year in this room, you know, I looked at this guy and I said, listen, this is, you know, it's your job to lose. You're an offensive lineman. It's your job to lose. You're going to get the first look next year. And he took it and he ran with it. And he started for us all season long. Not only did he start for us all season long, but he played a lot on defense with Coach Sweeney and Coach Chiardi over here. Also a team captain. Ended up making all league and then all Metro as well. And this is a guy that I know a year ago was thinking about not playing this senior season. Am I right about that? So again, stick with it. Set goals, work your butt off, and good things happen. This guy turned out to be one heck of a football player for us. Very smart. You know, it's crazy to think that he's only played 2 years of offensive line. Because he was our stronger tackle, but he also played tight end, which he loved that. He loved that. Had played tight end in the game, and we lost Garrett, and he was sick. And he stepped in, did a good job for us. But he knew the guard position, he knew both guard positions, both tackle positions. He could basically do anything we needed him to do in the offensive line. Also a scholar athlete, and just a great kid, Caden Alberg.
Next young man, you know, I already said how Tommy Gunn was special to me, but this guy is just up there with Tommy Gunn. It's very important to me that he be a good person instead of a good player. And this guy has some serious, just some character values that I think that every ball player should have. He's very talented. He's going to be very successful in his life, whatever he chooses to do, wherever he throws up or lives, he's going to be, he's going to give his community a lot. Scholar athlete, Lucas Brody, come on up, buddy.
This next guy's family is really into training horses. It's pretty ironic because I remember the first time I saw him play football, he looked like a baby horse that just got born, man. He didn't know what he was doing. Just kind of learning how to walk, just trying to figure out what his body was supposed to do, you know. Got a 6'3" transfer from Nevada Union. I was stoked. He'd never played football for us. All right, here we go. So he came up to me last year and he asked me, he's like, man, Coach, can I just learn how to play some defensive end? I was like, all right, dude. I literally said, I'll teach you, but I'm not going to promise you any reps, right? Because he's a nose guard. And you want to know, he's the most coachable guy I think maybe I ever have coached. He remembers every single thing that I say, and he can finish my sentences. I make my kids finish my sentences a lot, and he's really good at it. But he turned out to be hands down the most improved player I've ever coached in my life. And it got to a point this year where I sat him down with Nix and Leonard, and I brought them three together. I was like, look, listen, you three are so damn equal, I don't know who to start. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep the guys that I have been starting, which were Leonard and Nix. I'm going to keep these guys in the game. And Becker, you're going to rotate every single series. And we're just going to share the reps. So that's how it worked out. Whether you're in for 10 reps or whether you're in for 3 and out. But this guy was dead equal with them. It was one of the hardest decisions I had to make, who to start. But this guy was equal in talent with the other 4 guys that were on the defensive line, and hands down the most improved player I've ever coached. That's Hayden Becker. And he's got 3.5 GPA.
After our 3-7 season, you do a lot of gut checking, self-analysis of yourself as a coach. And I sat down with Scott and Terry, and we declared that we pretty much need to build this team around this guy offensively. Without a doubt, was our most explosive. Excuse me. So excuse me, it's Norwegian in me, I get a little emotional. Okay. Sometimes it comes out in anger and sometimes it comes out that way. So sorry about that. It just, we knew going into the season we had to build it around him. We knew that he was a special type of player. So we geared this offense towards him. We had the outside perimeter run specifically for him, and he did not disappoint us. He was literally 14 points a game for us. Stephen Taylor by himself was 14 points a game by himself. Now, he did with the offensive line, but once he got going, he can make things happen. Cutting up film right now, really watching it, and I showed Luke a couple things. I said, wow, this kid was just impressive. I can imagine defensive coordinators trying to prepare for this kid, and then you add all the other window dressings with Cundy and Moronic and Pratt. It's a pretty amazing what we could have really accomplished with him. Unfortunately, first drive of Lincoln, his season was over. He put a lot into it. He spent many hours in unscripted practices with me, Luke, and the other receivers, putting in extra time to put this football team in a position to win it. And for all that to go away, man, as a senior, that's very, very tough. It was tough for all of us. It hurt me. I tell you what, I went home and I didn't know what to do. I was, as a coach, you build this, and it was just kind of tough not having him. But he was still there for us. He showed up to practices, he showed up to every game, and he supported his teammates, and he pushed them and encouraged them to get to where we are. He was a main part of that camping trip. As a senior leader, he really took ownership of that and leading the younger guys on what we wanted to do. Secondly, that he just is a great kid. I go to bat for him for anything. And one memorable thing is, after the Capital Christian game, you don't see much, but Wayne, our video recorder, kind of captured everything. And one of the things was Stephen so emotional and excited for his teammates. that they beat the #1 seed in Division 5, and we're on the road to greatness, and which was awesome to see, even though the season was over. So, without a doubt, Stephen Taylor, phenomenal kid, phenomenal player. Stephen's also a 3.6 GPA.
This next young man, I'm trying to figure out what to say about him because the last 4 years here at Bear River, you know, everybody's been talking about him. Guys like this do not come around very often. I've been coaching for a long time, and I've only seen one of them since Mr. Bay's here. I remember his freshman year. That guy, he shut down Marysville. We had to forfeit their game or something. He knocked so many kids out they had to cancel the game there. He's one of the only kids I know that his freshman year he scored a touchdown on a freshman team, he scored a touchdown on the JV team, he scored a touchdown on the varsity team, all in the same year. He's been in 3 section championship games, winning 2 of those. Top it off against Colfax, both of them. We'll probably talk about it more later on tonight. I'm excited about the future and following you. Also, fellow athlete, no surprise there, with a 3.0 GPA off the bench.
I just want to add that Austin is the only player in the history of the school that has been on 2 section championship teams. That's pretty dang good.
All right, I got the last one. So before I was here at Bear River, I coached a little bit of college football, and it's a big difference in the type of player from college football, high school football. You know, college usually got the right guy with the right height, right weight, right speed. He's usually the best guy at his position, at his school, and usually in his conference, sometimes in the section, right? And then the difference is you got high school kids. Almost all of our guys, besides probably Austin, are either too small, too skinny, not strong enough, not fast enough, too slow. That's right. Not something enough, right? But that's the reason why I love high school football so much more. Because it's such a difference, man. And if you put everything that you have into something bigger than yourself, and you can win a game just based off of preparation and heart. And this guy was one of our captains. Jake went from 154 pounds as a junior, never really played at all, to 172 pounds, gained 18 pounds in the offseason just through hard work and working out in the weight room and eating when he wasn't hungry, right? Started every game except for the ones that he was hurt. Got a couple of concussions. He didn't slow him down though. He was our best pass rusher that we had. Jake is the type of guy that, you know, as a coach, you look at, I met him when he was a sophomore, and you dream about the person that he will be one day when he leaves the program. And Jake is exactly what I would hope to see from any of you guys. A lot of you guys have achieved. And he's everything that I would have hoped that he would turn out to be. I'm very proud of him. He's also got 3.5 GPA.
Okay, our next step is to honor our all-league players. And the following guys were second team all Pioneer Valley League. Josh Zimmer is a running back.
Yeah.
Sam Davis, defensive line. And Trey Moronic, defensive back. Our first team player gets a certificate. First team players get certificates, they get patched for their jacket. And Coach was referring to the picture plaque that they get as well. The pictures of Brian O'Brien. We appreciate him doing that for us. And our 5 All-League players are defensive line, first team All-League, Austin Davis. First team offensive line, Caden Alberg. First team All-League linebacker, Travis Carpenter. First team All-PBL, defensive back, Luke Banquet. And first team All-League wide receiver, Calder Cundy. Know that we can't vote for our own guys. So these guys are voted on by the other coaches in the league. So All-League's a special thing because of that, I believe. You know, they're All-League because the other coaches thought they were. Okay, Coach Luke?
We have a thing we call the 4-year Letterman Award. Played all 4 years of football here at Bear River, or you came in from another school and you played all 4 years. And we have a special little medallion for these players. And this year our 4-year guys are Caden Alberg, Luke Baggett, Dave, Travis Carpenter, Jake Leonard, Stephen Taylor, and Josh Zimmer.
Okay, we're finally down to some team awards, and I'm giving out the most valuable offensive lineman. And I mentioned some things about this guy earlier. Came a long way in a year. Worked very hard in the weight room. Very smart player. Played a lot of different things for us when we needed him to. All-league player, all-metro player. Our most valuable offensive lineman is Caden Alberg.
So I got most valuable defensive lineman, and after every single game, watch a lot of film. I watch every single play, grade every single player on every single play. And at the end of all those, I add them all up, all their pluses and minuses, average them out, and then I give them a score, right? And every single minus that they get, they have to fix that, and they have to give me a little report and tell me what they did wrong so that they don't do it again, hopefully. This guy consistently scored at the very top every single week. This guy made the least amount of mistakes, and he made the most plays. I'm telling you, he made sometimes, like 6, 7 tackles for a loss in a freaking game, right? And it's really hard for the stat guys to see that because he's right in the freaking middle of the defense, not getting the credit that he deserves all the time. Name in the paper, announcers. But this guy is hands down our most valuable defensive lineman, and this is weird because it usually goes to a senior, right? But this is a junior. It goes to Sam Davis.
Like I said earlier, this year I was fortunate to coach linebackers. Best linebacking crew I've seen in a long time. So this award goes to the best linebacker of Bear River this year, which is pretty much an honor because there was some tough competition. Unfortunately, he's not here for reasons we know why. But Travis Carpenter, we have a lot of gratitude for him, man. He did a lot of positive things for this team on the football field. He's one of the main reasons we won a section title. Travis Carpenter was the guy that you needed on the field. He was the guy that was not intimidated by anybody. He set the tone for us on defense. He knew, opponents knew they were going to be hit. Travis Carpenter was going to hit you. Sometimes might have been out of bounds. But he set the tone. He gave us the identity that we're going to be a tough defense and no one's going to push us around. So linebacker of the year, we're going with Travis Carpenter. The next award I have here is called the Bone Crusher. This young man, he would start off at defensive end, moved to linebacker. I had my doubts. Didn't know what he could do at linebacker, to be honest with you. But when we scrimmaged Nevada Union, I don't know if you remember this, we scrimmaged Nevada Union, and I always, preach fly the ball, man. Great things happen when you fly the ball, bad things happen when you don't. This guy flying the ball full speed and just destroyed the Nevada Union runner. He pops up, he starts beating his chest, and he starts pointing in the stands to all his buddies who decide not to play this year. And I knew at that moment that he was going to be a Mike linebacker for us. And this is called Bone Crusher, and that's perfect for this guy. I'm looking for great things from him next year. Garrett Pratt.
Okay, as a former defensive coach, defensive coordinator, for me, one of the biggest things that I think defensively that you need is a great force player on the outside. A corner that can lock down one of their best guys, a corner that you can isolate so that on the backside, so you can do other things on the front side. So you can creatively load the box, certain ways to stop the run. And for us, that we knew this guy was our guy that was going to be on the single receiver side, isolated on an island by himself, so that we can stop the run and do other things. Without a doubt, he's made some great plays for us. He did a great job on the run to his side. Made great plays. You'll see on the video, in a couple weeks, and he got very confident in his two-hand reroute, throwing the timing off. Many teams took many shots at him, and most of the time, if not all the time, they were defended very well by him. He had many picks, one for a touchdown against Pershing County. And has done a great job for us. And we know that he's going to continue to be one of the outstanding football players in Bear River history. And really proud of his growth this year, his maturity, be able to get through some injuries, and really going to be excited to see what he can do his senior year. But our defensive MVP, defensive most valuable defensive back is going to go to Calder Cundy.
I have the most valuable receiver award, and Coach Packett talked about this young man a lot already, Stephen Taylor. I remember it was about week 7 or week 8, and I said something about, who's our leading rusher? And he goes, Stephen Taylor. And I go, who's our leading receiver? He goes, Stephen Taylor. And then, he hadn't even played in 2 or 3 weeks, and he was still the leading receiver on the team and the leading rusher on the team. And Stephen, you can take solace in this. I know you missed the second half of the season, But if we don't go 5-0 in preseason, we're not in the playoffs. And you are a big reason we were 5-0. Los rival receivers, Stephen Taylor.
Hey guys, sorry for Brady being a distraction, but he really wants to help me give out this award. A kid that we asked a lot of as a offensive back, okay? With our formation changes and everything we do, there's so many different things that involve being an offensive back for us in the wing tee sometimes in shotgun, sometimes real spread stuff. It's so variable with what we do. And when Steven went down, we asked this kid to take over a load that was unrealistic. I mean, you talk about every single play we run, the whole season had Steven in it. And so when Steven leaves, you got to fill in a huge void. And we asked the kid to fill that void, and not only did he fill the void, he went out and got second team all lead. He went out and made plays all through the playoffs, and he was a receiver, he was a back, he was everything we ever asked of him. And Trey Moronic, you were fantastic.
The way we've handled our team captain situation the last several years is that we rotate during the 3 league games. And we're really looking to see who those guys were going to be, that were going to stand up and not just play well, and not just represent well as captains on game night, but that they're going to act like captains during the week as well. And here's the 4 that we ended up with, and they became our captains throughout the PBL play and the playoffs. Luke Baggett, Stephen Taylor, Caden Alberg, and Austin Bay.
This is my last trip up here, so parents, thank you guys so much for having such great kids. Seniors, I love you, I'll miss you, and you gave me more than I gave you, I'll guarantee you that. So, and my little grandson, he wants to know if we're going to Papa's football game every other day, so you guys might throw to him. So I don't know how we're going to wait until fall for that, but anyway, we'll work on that. This award that I have is for the most improved player. And a lot of times, we usually get this right, but this couldn't be any more right this time. This kid improved a lot, and at times he was almost working his way out of the starting lineup, but then he would just pick it up and improve and get better and make up for his mistakes, and he just got better and better and better. So, without a doubt, the most improved person on this team is Josue Hurtado.
Okay, so I'm giving out the Rudy Award, I guess, to the guy that really works hardest. Sometimes doesn't always get noticed, but he always works the hardest. He's out there just working, doing what he's told, very quiet, just keeps grinding. You know, I said a lot about him earlier. He didn't talk much in practice. And sometimes when he did, you wish he didn't. I know that he drove Terry crazy in the film rooms. We questioned a little bit his, I can't say it here, but there was a lot of questions. You know, we still have a lot of questions about him, I think. But without a doubt, he gave us everything he had. And it proved to be really the difference in our season and the outcome of it. Our Rudy Award this year is obviously going to go to Josh Zimmer.
This one's a coach's award. Coach Savoy and I are giving it out together, but I'm going to talk. A year, well, this would be a year ago, a little more than a year ago. This guy came out for football late and asked us if he could come out. We said, yeah, you can come out, but you're not going to play very much. And you're going to have to pay your dues. So as a junior, he did that. He paid his dues. Came out this year as a senior. Clearly got better, clearly got bigger, clearly got stronger, and had a great attitude, worked very hard, and without a doubt, the Coach's Award this year goes to Mr. Jake Leonard. He's also a great weed eater, if you need a weed eater. Lives across the street from me.
So we went with, instead of having a defensive and offensive MVP, we went with a co-team MVP. And sometimes that's hard, you know, to really pinpoint down who those guys are. Everybody's important. Everybody earned that ring and that hat that they're wearing. You know, but these guys, you know, Coach had mentioned, you know, something about Luke earlier. You know, would we be sitting here section championships without Luke? Well, this guy, to me, is right there with them. And he actually didn't get a chance to play in the early part of the season. He was still recovering from the surgery. And I knew we had something going when we were able to win some games there without him. And once we got him, you know, defensively, you probably saw him playing a lot of different places. And he's a linebacker sometimes, he's a rover sometimes, a defensive end other times. And it was just kind of a week to week, you know, where's the leak this week? What do we need to fix this week? Where do we need an athletic guy? And that's where we put him. Had a big game for us against center. His biggest offensive game of the season for sure. And just ran wild in that game, and he's just been a pleasure to coach for 4 years. And I can't believe it. It's been, you know, 4 seasons. I remember him as you know, he was about as big now, or big as a freshman as he's now, but his voice has changed quite a bit. And it's been just a pleasure coaching him, and it's going to be fun to see where this guy ends up. I know he's got some football ahead of him, but on top of that, he's going to do some great things in life. He's a great young man, very intelligent. You know, he's got Ivy League type grades. He's got a future ahead of him. So, without further ado, co-MVP, Mr. Austin Bailey.
That's enough awards for him, Coach. He's breaking my hand up here. Last but not least, our other co-MVP, I don't think it's a secret or a surprise. When you are the quarterback, you're under the magnifying glass and you have to perform, especially when you throw a 6-foot pass and your dad's back there yelling at you. So, but Luke Baggett is a great, great young man, a great football player, without a doubt the co-MVP of our football team. And I think he has a bright future ahead no matter what he decides to do. I know he can play college football. I know he can do it. He's smart enough and he's tough enough. But our co-MVP, Luke Baggett.
You know, the end of the season came, and it was kind of cool. Coach Logan and I looked at each other, and it's like good things just keep happening. And we've had some young men that have been acknowledged just past the Pioneer Valley League and past Blue River High School. And I don't, by the way, I don't think we're done with these. I think there's still some awards coming out. But here we go. Sacramento Bee All Metro team. First team linebacker, Austin Days. First team All Metro, Luke Baggett, defensive back. Honorable mention linebacker, Travis Carpenter. Honorable mention offensive lineman, Caden Auburn. Honorable mention wide receiver, Calder Cundy. Might mention that we haven't had a first team All Metro guy for a while. Now, I don't think we had one in 2014, Coach, did we? Yeah, so that's a big deal. Big deal. We've got 2 guys in the Optimus game. Again, you know, Optimus game represents, you know, the whole Sacramento area. And we're talking about all the schools, Folsom, you know, everybody. We've got 2 guys playing in that game. We're really proud of those guys. Luke Baggett and Austin Davis. Some of these things are a little bit hard to find on the internet. I was searching last night looking for some stuff, but Max Preps has an all Sac Joaquin section, all section team, and second team. Luke Baggett made the second team. It was defense, second team defensive back. A utility, okay. And like I say, there's still some things coming out there. I know the Cal High Sports puts out a small school all-state team, and I got a feeling we could end up with 1 or 2 of those too, and we'll see what happens. In closing, I've got just a couple of things to say. I didn't get a chance to say it earlier, but I really appreciate you guys, our JV coaches, that came up and helped us with the playoffs. Mike, you were a huge help. Huge help. It was very valuable. Frank, again, with all of your, you bring a lot to the table with your film breakdown and your knowledge. Emmanuel, appreciate you being there and helping out Todd and being there. And Todd Whitehead's not here tonight, but he's the one that helps us with our echo system, and that's really, really important to us. Echoes the system where we can watch, we can literally see what's happening on the field, on the sidelines. It's like an instant playback, and Todd's our guru on that. And the only last thing I've got to say is that for you guys that are coming back, you know, we've been patting ourselves on the back for good reason. Had a lot to celebrate tonight, but it is January and it's time to get busy. It's time to get busy. It's time to get to work, and that's happening tomorrow. So, you know, I want the same type of thing next year at this day. We want to be celebrating a lot of things, so we need to get busy. Okay, I think there's some other things going on here.
Want some of the boys to talk on behalf of the coaches and give them their coaches' gifts, and then we'll let you guys go. Sorry, I know it's long.
right, so I was a defensive lineman, and I was a defensive end to be exact. There was a guy that, it was like probably this time last year, January, and he DM'd me on Instagram, and he said, like, hey buddy, you're playing next year, right? And I said, yeah, of course, I put in that work last year. And it really got me thinking. It was like, what did I put in that work last year for? And it was not for really myself, I thought. I thought that I was worth playing for this guy. And he corrected me right away. He said, make sure you're not playing for me, you're playing for yourself. And I couldn't put into perspective why I put in that work last year. And this guy, probably January 20th to 30th, somewhere around there, he said, like, let's go have a talk. And I said, all right, when are we going to meet up? He said, let's go to round table, and we'll just have a chat for a little while. And it was kind of weird because I was like he said, 154 pounds, and I was a twig. And here comes this big old dude, and I'm like, all right, if I put on 20 pounds, I'm still a twig. So he started talking, we got me on a meal plan, and I was eating and eating. My mom was buying groceries, and I always blamed it on him. I was like, well, Mom, I have to get big for next season. And so here I am, 170-something pounds, and I think that all that work that we put in as a team came from Coach Giardi. And I don't think that our team would be standing here with the section championship if it wasn't for him. I think that he was the mastermind behind our whole entire defense, not just defensive line. He helped coach tight ends, running backs, everything. He knows the game better than anyone I know. So I just want to thank him for all that he's done and all the hard work that he's put in, and in myself as well, because I don't think that I'm standing here giving this speech if it wasn't for him. So I want to say thank you, Coach.
Okay, so this guy, I felt sort of uncomfortable at first because I came in at the beginning of the season during spring practice and the beginning of summer practice, not knowing who he was, and a lot of the linebackers already knew who he was from, I guess, prior years. And so I was a little intimidated, and I don't know, I found out pretty quickly that I don't know, as long as I tried my hardest and everything, he made you feel good. I also noticed that I don't know. I noticed that the more he made fun of you, that was because he liked you and not because he hated you. So I don't know. I got made fun of quite a bit. But anyway, so I don't know. I have to thank this guy a lot. He was always there for me throughout the season. Whether I was playing or not playing, he was always there for moral support and, told me what I was doing wrong and how I could improve. And I just owe a lot to this guy. So anyway, Coach Turner.
So I'm Coach Alberg, and he did a lot of behind the things for our team, behind the scenes, and he drove all the equipment to every single game. He was at every single practice. I think he really took care of us. Anytime someone's equipment like helmets, shoulder pads were missing anything, he got on it right away, and he took care of us really well. And yeah.
when I made my decision to come to Forever, I didn't know it would be this great. I suck at reading. I want to thank you for like always pushing me and being at practice every day and making me become a better person too. And I appreciate all the hard work you have put in into this team to make my senior year so memorable. Thanks for being such a great coach, great friend, never giving up on us.
So, this coach, he missed a little bit of the beginning of the season because he was in the hospital, and I was glad he came back. He set a real good tempo for us on offense and scout defense, and he he's just a lot. He was a lot of fun to have around because he always made a lot of jokes. And I'm just glad to have him around.
Okay, so this coach, when I first got here, this coach helped me out a lot. Came here, transferred from NU, total screw up from NU, and this guy changed my life. Okay, and well, Coach Matthias, you made a great impact in my life when I came from NU, and you've always pushed me to my ability 100%. Seen you on scout team, throw me on the ground, me throwing you on the ground, back and forth. I just want to thank you for all that time you gave me. Thank you.
Okay, I was lucky enough to be able to pick Coach Loeb for presenting him his gift. He's known me my whole life. My dad would always talk about how great of a coach he was. So that was one of my reasons for wanting to leave and come play under him. I got to play defense for him for 2 years. I got to be in the secondary with him. So we sort of argue about what coverage to be in and whatnot, but it was always some good fun, and I'd always, it's my favorite part when he'd get mad. And he'd scream, and then Zimmer would say some sarcastic comment, but it was all in good fun. He cares so much about the game, and he always puts us in the best position to win each game. Even though he's going through a lot personally, he's always out there every day with us, battling through what he's going through. It just means a lot to me. So thank you for everything you've done for us and for me, especially the last 2 years.
Alright, so tonight I get to say a few words about Coach Savoy. Not only has he been my coach, but for the past 4 years now, he's been my teacher, one of my teachers, and a really close person to me. There's so many things to say about him, and I have some really funny stories too. But tonight I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I know it's not just me saying this, but from everyone, we want to say thank you. Thank you for teaching us leadership, teamwork, accountability, and punctuality. Thank you for pushing us to be the best we can be. Thank you for believing in us, even when we didn't believe in ourselves. Thank you for your countless sacrifices and for being a role model to so many people. I know I will, and I'm sure the rest of the team will take these lessons and apply them to our lives. This season by far has been the best one, and you've been a huge part of that for me. Thank you, Coach Savoy. Your friendship, support, and guidance through the most memorable football season.
Well, I think there's some cake back there. Open it up.
That was a long time, but it's well worth it. Last time this group will ever be together. Great job.